You are not prepared.
But with my help you will be. Hello again, this is Mac, also called Possessed, and welcome to my beginner's guide to the importance of key bindings. For new players, an expansive spellbook can be overwhelming. Here I will be teaching you how to open up your action bars and how to bind your abilities to extra keys. As you may know, there are certain situations where you wish you could activate an ability faster, and this guide will teach you how. But first, I will guide the absolute beginners on how to open up their action bars without the use of unfamiliar add-ons. Here you can see the basic setup that players are given with level 1 characters. Over time, 12 slots becomes highly inefficient, and cycling through 6 pages is confusing. To get the action bars you need, simply hit Escape and click Interface. The 6th option down is aptly named Action Bars. You can check all that you wish to see, but I recommend accessing them all. You can uncheck Lock Action Bars to move them, but for now, just leave them where they are. Now you have opened way more space to store abilities, which you can drag and drop from your spellbook. And always click OK to save your settings. And this brings me to the next item on my list, which is keybinds. Keybindings are what make the spells on your newly opened action bars more accessible without clicking. For some playstyles, clicking is fine, but for others it isn't so easy to swing the mouse where you want it to go. First, open your keybindings window in the Escape menu. Notice that some keys have useless bindings by default. Since your left hand should always be over the W, A, D, S keys, the X, C, Z, F, and R, and even V are in prime position. Another thing you notice is the camera zoom on your mouse scroll. These are also in prime position for emergency spells. The secret to my quick interrupts and gap closers lies here. Click and press a new key to bind zoom and save it. The thing to remember when it comes to key bindings is location, location, location. Since memorizing every potential key is hectic, consider instead the hardest buttons for you to reach. Since the bottom left is right over the main bar, I prefer to leave those as clickable, because my mouse is likely to be nearby. The bottom right, however, is nowhere near anything I would want to click, and I could potentially miss and open a tab beneath them by mistake. Here is where I begin binding. Numbered right to left and top to bottom, I start by making the hardest to click the easiest to reach. By clicking, hovering the mouse over, and then selecting the desired keystroke, I now have made my interrupt activate from my scroll down. Watch as I now use my gap closer through scrolling up and my interrupt from scrolling down. I no longer have to click, I can simply use the key. From here, I can go even further. Turn all these slots into my desired keys. Since I use a Razer Naga, I also bind numpad. You can also use your numpad since it is great for macros. Another thing that you can change is your targeting feature. For PvP, I often switch it so that my tab targeting will no longer target random enemies, it will only target enemy players. This means I will only be targeting enemy players, no longer pets, totems, or anything really annoying. The only downside to this is, if I switch to PvE, I have to switch my targeting back. One final thing to keep in mind is that you can have this set up so that it's only character specific. You make sure you check character specific bindings on the very top right corner, then it will only affect your current character. If you want it to be account wide, uncheck this and press OK. Just remember to bear in mind that this is an entirely new way of playing. You are now hitting different keys in order to use abilities that are very, very important to you. This will take some time to get used to. Don't expect this to become mastered overnight. Notice here that I still use the scroll up for my gap closer. This is actually a lot easier whenever I'm in combat. I don't have to think as much, I don't have to worry as much. as the same abilities are going to be found on similar keys. You can also use this in PvE. For a tank, scrolling up to taunt makes a world of difference, and for a lock, an emergency crowd control could save lives. Watch here as I interrupt this paladin just in time. My ability to make healers nearly worthless creates major opportunities for my team. In time, your reaction speed will increase and you will notice a huge improvement in your game. With just a little practice, you'll learn to manipulate your enemies and render their abilities useless. Let's slow it down. Here I begin by eliminating a healer. First comes the interrupt, preventing him from casting. Then I use one of my keybinds to wipe his buffs and another to keep him trapped between my teammates. And finally, a CC. Follow that up with another interrupt before the kill, and I have made this healer completely useless. Here's where keybinds really come into play. I start by taking a lot of focus from the enemy team, so I prepare myself by spacing out my defensive abilities. Instead of frantically searching and clicking, I can calmly cast one keybind at a time to extend my lifespan for as long as possible and wait until I can get a healer or another teammate to come to my aid. And so concludes my tutorial on how to set up keybinds and how to set up your action bars. Hope this was helpful. Please like, subscribe, comment, or even make requests. See you on the battlefield.